Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this Sunday edition, this final edition of the Western Group Stage here on the HyperX D2L. Our very last best of three across both group stages. It's been a hell of a ride so far, and even coming down to our final match, so much remains on the line. Today, it'll be Evil Geniuses taking on Fnatic, with EG's life in this tournament at stake, and Fnatic at the risk of being jumped and falling to the bottom of the playoff seeding if they're not careful and drop that loss. So both teams have so much to play for. Moving ahead, we'll take a look at the rosters first, then we'll bring up the standings and take a look at exactly what we're talking about in terms of why this match matters so much. EG sitting currently in 6th place, right on the bubble, but on the wrong side of that bubble at 2-4. They have 7 games won across the entire tournament so far. Led by Fear on the support jungle, with JO on hard carry and MSS in mid. Universe in the offlane and Fogged on hard support. Again, EG haven't performed the best, but they're sitting just 1 win away from playing their way into playoff contention. To do that, though, they got to get past Fnatic, and they're no slouches in terms of their lineup either. They're led by Fly on the hard support, with Era, an amazing hard carry player, Hani in mid, No-Tail, a fan favorite on support, and Trixie out in the offlane. Now, right now, Fnatic has played 500 Dota, sitting at 3-3 in 4th place. To make the cut for the playoffs, you've got to make it in at 5th or above, and obviously Fnatic will make it no matter what. There's no possible scenario remaining at this point where no matter how bad they lose, how good they win today, they're going to be in either 4th or 5th place one way or the other. But the standings, this will tell the tale and will help to explain exactly why this matters so much, in particular to EG. Now, again, our top 5 are the 5 that make it into postseason play. Alliance with a 7-0 perfect record coming out of the West. They're direct qualified to Las Vegas right now. On the East side, that's LGD China. So already 2 teams have punched their tickets to Vegas coming up in January. Behind them, an unbelievable run out of Team Liquid as they finished at 6-1. And in 2nd place, so they'll be the 2nd seed. In other words, they'll be at the top of our bubble race playoffs coming up the 1st or 2nd week of December. Na'Vi finished at 5-2, so they're in 3rd. But now these 3 teams, Fnatic, Virtus.pro, and EG. Obviously, Fnatic and EG have their match today. Both will be finishing out their schedules following that. Virtus.pro, they're done. This is all out of their hands. Now, the problem Virtus.pro has had is when they lose ugly, and that has opened the door for Evil Geniuses. At this point, the way that the tiebreakers work in cases in terms of determining seeding, it's win-loss overall that matters the most. After that, it's points, and then after that, it's heads-up advantage. As we can see, EG, just because when they've lost pretty. In other words, they've lost 2-1 when they did lose. They've already tallied 7 points to go with their 2-4 record. They already have more points than Virtus.pro, so if they get a win today, they'll improve their win-loss record to 3-4 and have the points advantage that'll knock Virtus.pro back into 6th. And beyond that, EG will actually end up jumping Fnatic as well. Fnatic will fall to 5th. EG will jump from 6th to 4th, not just be in the playoffs, but come in a slightly better seed. It doesn't really matter because of the bubble race format, because it'll still be EG and Fnatic matching up again in the very first round of the bubble race because of the way this has panned out. So Virtus.pro at home today, they're hoping for a Fnatic win. That way they make it in 5th position. Fnatic, they want to win just for no other reason than pride. Evil Geniuses, though, fighting for their life here at the HyperX D2L. Big match on the way. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. As always, I'll be joined by Ben Merlini-Wu for the insight and analysis, and Nahaz Noto will be lending his talents in terms of our data, in terms of our stats, and all that fun stuff. Most importantly, though, we got you guys, and that's what makes the D2L so much fun. Game 1 of our final best of 3, not just in the West, but of our entire group stage coming up next. The draft already underway. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back here on the HyperX D2L.
Pick.
And as we can see, these teams flying through the draft so far. 4 out from Fnatic, Lich Clock, Timber, and Mirana. EG leading off with some solid picks of their own. They've got Veno, they've got Crystal Maiden, and they've got the Bounty Hunters. So a lot of early support attention given in this draft by EG. And most likely, based on both teams, you see a Timber, you see a Clock, you see a Mirana in particular, you're going to want to start moving around and start fighting early. And EG, with a Bounty Hunter, I think that's going to suit them just fine. To break down this draft and, of course, lend his insight and analysis as he has throughout the entire tournament so far, welcome in once again Ben Merlini-Woon. Ben, I can't think of a better way to end the season. A match that matters not just to the two teams playing, but a third team as well. EG playing for their life has a chance to go from 6th to 4th. Fnatic would still end up in the playoffs, of course, even if they lose. But yeah, I mean, Virtus Pro sitting at home right now, really hoping for a solid Fnatic performance.
Definitely are. And EG with the Invoker ban, that is something that we don't see very often versus Fnatic. But Honey plays a pretty good one, even though they lost with it just the other day versus Liquid. So Evil Geniuses doing their homework. Also, we don't see Visage banned out until the second phase. That's a little bit unusual, but it looks like Venomancer has taken the reins as #1 support. Lich, I thought was outclassed by Visage, but maybe not to Fnatic.
Well, Lich has, I mean, when 6.79 debuted, we saw Lich as a first pick, first ban for a while. Then he kind of fell off. The thing about a Lich pick, though, is he gives you one very important thing to rely on. He's going to dominate whatever lane he winds up in just because of sacrifice, especially if he uses it correctly. Guarantees that only he and perhaps one teammate soak up the experience from the sacrifice creep. But, you know, whenever I see an early Lich pick like this, especially when it's a lead-off pick like in the first phase, it tells me Fnatic is much more interested in the laning phase than they are anything else. They're all about control, and that would make sense with this lineup. They have a lineup that is going to want to remain stable, get some semblance of farm early on. Timbersaw obviously wants to get off to a good start. Clock just wants his levels. Lich certainly just wants to get off to a good start. Just make sure that he finds his level 6 as quickly as possible. While EG is just going to have the pedal to the metal. With a Storm Spirit pickup, he's going to be bouncing around the map as soon as he possibly can at level 6. Two phenomenal roaming supports in Crystal Maiden and Venomancer, and of course the Bounty Hunter, who is going to want to waste no time in tossing out track and collecting gold for his team. I would say that Fnatic is you know, and it makes sense seeing the Bounty Hunter pick up. I would say Fnatic is interested in just trying to maintain a decent semblance of map control, trying to maintain a solid start, while EG is going to be wanting to break down the laning phase as quickly as they possibly can.
And Evil Geniuses, I'm glad that they've still shied away from Batrider, and Fnatic bans it out, but I don't really think they need to. MS's Batrider is like okay, but it's not something that you have to ban out. I think they can just play against it. You just have to draft something strong for mid, like a Storm Spirit versus him, or a few of the other matchups also work out in maybe like Queen of Pain does decently versus her. But I like the Storm Spirit. We see Crystal Maiden also picked up. Fog plays a fantastic one. I haven't seen Jado, so that's something that's I'm slightly concerned for. But as far as all the other heroes go, we see Trixie probably on Clockwork. And is Hani going to play Timbersaw? I am slightly concerned for Hani's Timber, too, if he's going to be their solo mid player.
Yeah, it's an interesting draft on both sides. I'm really interested to see what carry, if any true carry, is going to be picked up by EG here. Pugna actually hasn't been banned, and Pugna, though certainly usually considered more of a push kind of a hero, when you look at Fnatic's lineup, it's a fairly abilities-dependent lineup. And we've seen farming Pugnas have a lot of success. We saw Fnatic farm an excellent Pugna. Who was it against? I want to say it was against Na'Vi, yeah.
VV?
No, it was Na'Vi. Remember, they went to 3 against Na'Vi, if I'm not mistaken. And they had an excellent farm Pugna out of Era. So EG might want to take a play from that playbook. And again, not a lot of push on the side of EG, and usually Pugna fits in better to those lineups. But he might be able to add a lot, especially against the Timbersaw.
Reserve time.
Nope, gonna be Luna. Never mind.
Yeah, so most likely Timbersaw solo mid. I like the Nixus as a pickup because we have seen time and time again Storm Spirit just ball out of control. Like, just played by Koikva, played by other teams and other players too. And they don't really have like the good lockdown for it. Like, Lion's decent, but Fnatic tried using Lion versus Storm Spirit last time, and it just did not work out for him. He got boots at level 1. He was level 1 like 3 or 4 minutes in, and then he just could not survive due to the massive amount of range and reach from the opposing team. Nick Assassin, I think, fares a lot better. Like, you have better defensive capabilities in case they do go on you, and the mana burn is just extremely useful at zoning that Storm Spirit out of fights. So we may see No-Tail just come in and harass Storm Spirit just so Hani can get a little bit of an edge up in the middle. But as far as both of these drafts go, it's fairly even. I wouldn't say either team has an outdraft or a poor draft.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is exactly what you would expect. Again, both teams with quite a lot on the line. If we're honest, Fnatic doesn't have quite as much to play for as EG. Just because of the way things work, so far as our bubble race playoff format, no matter what, even if Fnatic does drop from their current position to bottom position in fifth place, it really doesn't change much for them. Fourth and fifth position both face off in the very first best of three of the bubble race, regardless of seeding. If I'm not mistaken, I think server advantage comes into play there. So, if they end up, then that's basically the scenario. By the way, if EG wins this match, they leap Virtus Pro and Fnatic both. That puts them in fourth. Fnatic falls to fifth. And whenever our bubble race kicks off, it'll actually be a rematch of this right now, EG versus Fnatic, with Virtus Pro on the outside looking in. And, it's EG just fighting to stay alive. And until Dignitas's withdrawal, EG, especially with their poor start here in league play, hard to believe they would have had a chance to make the playoffs. But getting a win there, and, again, what's really favored EG is when they've lost pretty, not ugly. They lost 3 series 2-1.
In this matchup, it's about a coin flip in terms of odds. I think EG is like the slight favorite, and I think that's pretty accurate. EG did manage to beat them 2-0 last time, and EG has just been looking a lot more consistent lately. Sometimes they pick some unusual heroes, such as the Rikimaru that I actually haven't seen in D2L yet, but it looks like this time they're running with a more conventional lineup. Fear on that hard carry role on that Luna has been a very, very good thing. Very good transition for them.
Yeah, we just saw our good man that has Dota. They're 10-8 since Fear switched back, and we were actually, if I'm not mistaken, with his first switch back was actually in the D2L. But they're on a 3-series win streak as of right now. Looks like the rune will spawn top. That'll be a haste, and Fog will snag it. We'll watch him chase Era down a bit, and he's not even going to try to pursue it up into the woods. So the lanes are taking shape. Let's take a look at who's handling who. We'll have Jo playing on the Venomancer with Fog back on Crystal Maiden, and Fog plays one of the best CMs currently going in Western support play. Luna going to be farmed up by Old Man Dota himself, by Fear here in mid. Mojo Stormstout going to be matching wits against the clock. And Bounty Hunter going to be played by Universe. And you and I have seen some up and down play out of Universe just in the D2L alone. We've seen Universe on Bounty play very well. We've also seen him struggle mightily. So EG going to be wanting to get a good day out of him for sure. Other side of
Gio already trying to zone out people. He might get gone on top already.
Yep, caught with the Impale. And there's the Gale on the no-tail. Follow-up Frostbite down to half health. Do they have it? Lucent Beam. He put his first point into the passive. They're not going to need it. First blood. It goes to EG. I was wondering if Fear had placed his point and didn't even need the Lucent Beam. So a little bit of an overextension, and very quickly we see just how much damage a Gale plus a Frostbite can turn out, plus a few auto attacks, especially with that flat damage bonus coming off of Lunar Blessing.
You cannot underestimate that slow at level 1 from Venomous skill. That slow is just absolutely ridiculous, and No-Tail just definitely underestimated it. And I thought that they were actually going to go on JO, but I think even if they had, they would have still died. But they may have gotten first blood, and now Fnatic already on the back foot this early in the game. And you just can't do that in a 2-on-3 situation, especially as a bait hero. You cannot be caught out of position, and it's very, very important for Nyx to get levels this game. So I'd say that No-Tail's role is very, very important. He needs to not die. It looks like he is trying to block a couple of spawns. Unfortunately, he isn't able to unblock the small pull, but he did still have the 30-second spawn there.
Finishing up Fnatic's lineup, we can see it'll be Fly, who's currently on Lich. Made it to level 2 already. He's beginning to roam a little bit, and will be helping with rune control here in mid, grabbing the regen. Nyx Assassin, who gave up first blood, that's No-Tail. We'll have Mirana farmed up by Era. They're really going to need a lot out of him. Farming Mirana, kind of a chancy proposition even on its best days. Trixie will be on our Timbersaw, matching up with Universe one-on-one down here in the Dire side off lane. And Hani going to be handling the clock here in mid. Now, a mid clock work is excellent so long as you get a lot of mileage out of him. You justify the early levels and the early attention you're giving him, especially with the duo lane. Fly is going to go ahead and rotate up the top as I say that, though. But, yeah, they're going to need Hani to be active early. They really are going to want to take the pressure to EG one form, fashion, or another. Fly caught out with a Gale following the Frostbite Nova, and he's eating a lot of damage. There's the arrow. Arrow won't be enough, and Jo might get a kill here, and will. Actually, that's going to be Fog with the last right click. So right off the bat, EG just dominating this top tri-lane. And Fnatic, this is not the way you want to start against this kind of a team. A Storm who can snowball, a Bounty who can snowball. Got to make sure you control this laning phase better.
Yeah, and it looks like Trixie's actually doing decently on bottom too. He is out CSing Universe pretty badly. 14-3 compared to 9-0 on the Bounty Hunter. And with that 2 points of reactor armor, he should in this lane. But yeah, their top lane is just a disaster right now, and Jo and Fog are even able to get like the last hit on this creep pull too. So I mean, even with the Dark Ritual, they are just very, very far behind. We see a third arrow, or probably a second arrow miss, and Jo and Fog are like 3.5 pretty much, Flies 2.5, and No Tail is like 2 1/3. And that's just really problematic. Usually with the Lich, you're like, oh nice, we're gonna be out leveling our lane, and this is a lane that they did not expect to lose, at least not this badly.
Right. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, Mojo storms down, as we can see. He's doing pretty well here in mid. Hani's certainly doing a good job. He's actually on top of CS, sitting at 21. He has been helped out significantly by Fly's Lich there. But all things considered, now Hani drops his cogs. The DD's picked up by... Oh, that sucks. Oh, he's in between the trees.
Wow.
Yep, he's...
Fog, go bail him out, man.
Yep, he's got a tango. Come eat him out. And I'm telling you, man, they got to fix the collision detection on those cogs. And that drives me nuts when I play. I don't, certainly don't mind the ability or anything like that, but there are many times when it would appear you did not step on a cog and you end up bouncing to a position like that.
So Mojo's doing very well in mid, 16-7, but Hani's doing even better. One of our highest CSs right now at 21-10. So I doubted Hani's clockwork. He's doing very, very well in the CS phase, and yeah, Era, he is farming okay. He's not really the one that they're going to go on unless he's just like wildly out of position. So he can at least get some decent CS here. Fly and No Tail, though, as usual, have to be very, very careful. They already have a dust on them in case there is in case they want to kill the Bounty Hunter. But Bounty Hunter is level 5.5, already back in base. Wonder if he's going to rotate top. They do not actually have a central ward yet. No Tail going out there already with a double stun.
Oh, Fog caught out with the arrow, and they're going to get at least one kill. Universe is there, though. Engages on the No Tail. They trade 1 for 1. Era's got a hustle. Fly doesn't have any boots either. There's the leap through the trees and caught with the Lucid Beam. Here comes MSS, going to jump on Fly. So they end up going 2 for 1. They'll be quite happy to make that trade any day of the week. Not a ton of push power here, so they make...
from... Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought that was Hani.
It's no problem. Not a lot of push power here, at least not at this level, so likely to see them back out and not try to roll that up into anything else. And Universe is hanging. He's now level 6, by the way, so with Track now at his disposal, he may well just turn this top lane into a total battlefield. And
yeah, they did cause a rotation, but yeah, they can kill Era like pretty easily. He does flask up. Universe looking for someone to track, and they are going to see Fly over there too. He does have a sentry ward in case he wants to deward that, but it's going to be down in like 20 seconds anyways. So if they do sentry, it's not that big of a deal, and it'll tip off Universe as to where he is. But he is in mid. They want to kill Hani. There is an Invis Crystal Maiden too.
Ani could be in trouble. There it is. Track thrown out after the Janana. Frostbite's there. And the jump right into the cogs. Very well executed by EG. They got to get out now, though. Universe will be the return kill. They'll take that just because it was Track gold to 3 heroes. But Trixie there in time to at least get 1 return kill. 5-2, and not done yet. Staying right on MSS. Nice Frostbite. Might end up saving him. He has no mana. Had 8 wand charges there. Magic stick charges anyway. So MSS might have given up 1 there he didn't need to. Up top, Fear will dodge the arrow after the impale. Centaur not so lucky as he eats it in the mouth. And there's going to be a Gale that totally whiffs. He split the wickets and he might end up dead because of it. He's got a Frost Blast waiting up. Nope, Universe is there. There's an impale. Dust goes off. They end up bringing down 1. And even though they got the Nyx, they had to trade away the Venomancer 4, and Hani's way down deep. Here comes another TPN. Cogs are going to go down. MSS runs right into them off the bat. He's going to jump right on Hani. Vortex is in back. Fear's there. Lucid Beam spin. Another Track kill. Now Fly's the target. He's down to about a quarter health. Fear trying to make a run for it. Oh, leapt upon. Leapt upon. So they get the kill on Fear, as Era leaps to secure 1 last auto attack, but that's a triple kill going the way of Universe. At least 2 of them were Track kills, so even though EG is trading a bit more than I think they would like to. The track gold's certainly going to make it a big win for them. And look at what the gold graph tells us. Not a single tower down, and EG has already secured a 2,000 gold lead. This is why you draft a bounty hunter.
I like how EG's playing that. They're like bringing the fight to Fnatic, making them rotate. Like Timbersaw has to come mid to try and TP and save Hani. They have to rotate a hero top to try and stave off their tri-lane. And like Fnatic's just scrambling to catch up in kills, to try and keep Luna down as well as Mojo. If Mojo didn't die, I would like EG's position a lot more. But yeah, he definitely should not have died there on bottom. And Trixie is very, very farmed on the side of Fnatic. Fog will get caught out here.
Yep, Fear's right there. He's got an Eclipse, and he's going to spend it. Reactive armor doesn't help much against that. Oh, he dodges and misses the Temper Chain. Fear's going to end up dead, but they trade 1 for 1. Universe there has a track out on Arrow. Will engage on the Fly. Hook in from Hani. Kills off Fogs. Fly trying to make a run for it. MSS will jump. JO's there as well. They've traded 2 for 2 so far in this bottom skirmish. Poison Nova goes off. No Tail trying to make a run for it. Hani's just going to try to run. MSS is there, gets the Vortex off. That's going to be another track kill. Universe is absolutely going out of control. That's at least 5, maybe 6, if I missed one, tracks that he's gotten off, and we're just at 9 minutes. So half of the kills EG has tallied have been track kills. That gold is mounting and mounting and mounting. And look at this. Again, no tower down. And mechanically, they're not that far ahead. In fact, they're arguably behind in a lot of ways in terms of overall CS. So all of this has to do with how effective they're being with fighting around Bounty Hunter's track.
Yeah, and they're like forcing Fnatic to fight even without their ultimates. If they had Chain for us, if they had Vendetta, the fights would be a lot different. But at this point, Nyx Assassin doesn't even have any points in the Mana Burn, forced into this really defensive role. One plus side is Era is doing really well in terms of experience. I believe he's highest level in the game next to Trixie, so level 8 and 9 on them. But their supports are suffering as a result. But if they get a couple of kills on those high priority targets, the Mirana and the Timbersaw especially, they're going to be in a very good position coming into this mid game. Let's see what build Fear is going for. Looks like just a Treads Bassi. So although he has been fighting a lot, he has not been able to find that much problem. And that is one of the problems of running your carry in an offensive tri-lane, especially when there's just so much action here and there. Looks like Fog is going to be in a lot of trouble because we see a 5-man rotation from Fnatic. No Tail is smoked up.
They saw the smoke. It was pinged out immediately. It was right in front of a ward. And now they're going to catch at least Jo. There's the follow-up Chakra. Fogged in trouble. Era eating a decent amount of damage, but no, now they're going to pop the Moonlight Shadow. Era's been tracked out. And a buyback from Jo. Mojo Stormstyle with a DD popped. Might want to re-engage. There's an Urn Charge on the Era. That'll kill him, so that's a free Urn kill from Jo. Now he's going to get blown up. Universe is there, and Fly jumped on. That's a second track kill. Hani drops the cogs. Here comes Fear trying to give the old end around. He doesn't have Eclipse up for 15 seconds yet, but MSS able to grab Hani. Another track kill going to be tallied for EG. So once again, though they lose Jo twice, that's going to be 2 kills they're willing to give up for 3 tracks any day of the week. And they're just trading so smart right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at JO's items right now. He has boots and drums and 1,700 gold at this point, which is pretty ridiculous. And, I mean, Venomancer has that urn too, so, like, a lot of their heroes are just getting items that you wouldn't normally see this early in the game, especially when there's this much action, and compared to, like, someone like Fly, who just has brown boots and hard support items. Nyx Assassin, who just has brown boots and TP scroll. Like, they're able to pick up these small items. Even Magic Stick is a pretty big deal at this point, especially when there's so much fighting, and the items are just rolling in for EG right now. Luna with her Ogre Club, decently on our way to BKB. Storm Spirit, I fully expect to go and Orc and build this game. Very, very good versus Mirana, as well as Nyx Assassin, Clock, and Timber. So let's see. Universe is smoked up in their opponent's jungle with Fog and Jo closely in tow, but no one is around in that area. Fnatic, they just have to pick smarter fights if they can. They are level 6 with the Nyx Assassin, so just look for a quick and easy kill with Vendetta, Impale, possibly Arrow, or even with a few more. But just get out, get kills without giving up track kills in return. That's exactly what they need to do. Looks like they're trying to smoke up in the previous areas, but to no effect.
Yeah, both teams think of the same thing at the same time, which ends up meaning nobody's home in the relative jungles, even mid being avoided pretty much by both teams. Both stuck their nose there, but didn't feel like taking the chance. Looks like EG, though, wants to force a fight at top by pushing onto tier 1. And, makes perfect sense. They're in a position where they're ready to fight. They want to fight. And Fnatic has to make a choice of showing up to a fight late, where they're not going to have the position advantage, even if it is under their own tier 1, or giving up a tier 1 and opening the door for EG to take control of their jungle. They're going to try to trade the tier 1 mid. Glyphs go off on both sides pretty much simultaneously. And there's the tier 1 top dropping. Tier 1 mid, they could try to contest it. Doesn't look like they're going to, though. Just going to go ahead and trade even.
Yep. And Hani has to hit some of his hook shots too. We haven't really seen too many hook shots coming out from him. He is 2-4-5 right now, even after that fantastic early game farm. And it looks like EG is going to continue on top. I think this is not a good idea at all. They only have 1 sentry left on Venomancer, but if they come in with a hook shot or anything, there are a couple heroes that are going to die very, very quickly.
Universe is nowhere near the fight. He's back at the tier 2 mid, so he'd have to hustle. And Jo being annoying as he possibly can, dropping plague wards from out of the jungle, and they got to realize where he is. The rest of EG will be pulling back right now as we see Fears bounce down the bottom to continue his farm. Not far from his BKB, right around 1,600 gold. And they're trying to suss him out. Jo says, that's fine. I'm done being annoying now. At least for the moment.
Oh, there's a stun that's on Universe. There's an arrow to follow up.
Oh, well done. Well executed. The dust went off immediately after the impale. And Fnatic gets a very high-profile kill. That's a 531 gold kill just because of how dominant Universe has been. But 6-2 start in the first 15 minutes. Not too shabby for him. And again, at least at this point, how many? 7, 8 track kills at a minimum. MSS going to jump way long ways away. Catches the arrow in the face, and now he's going to be bursted down. No, he's actually able to get away. Trixie trying to timber chain in. Oh, such good RNG for Fly. The chain frost securing 2 more kills to go with the initial bounty kill. Now Jo's in trouble, and Fnatic has come fighting back hard and fast. Here comes Era, though. Excuse me. Here comes Fear with the Eclipse, cleaning one up. Now the hook onto him. So they end up giving him away. Jo runs in with the Poison Nova. Universe is there, but he's basically alone at the moment. Jo, by some miracle, still alive. Arrow's going to go ahead and bail out Hani. Might not be so lucky. Sentry goes down, and yeah, they will get at least one more track kill out of that. And Jo somehow survived. I have no idea. He's going to finish up at 55 HP after the Urn Charge expires. But, even there, we can see Fnatic making up a significant amount of ground. That all started with kind of a questionable play out of MSS, who jumped from roughly his tier 2 to right about here, expending nearly all of his mana and just starting a fight they couldn't win.
Especially without uphill vision too. He just got arrowed just like straight up from like 300 range away because he didn't have that uphill vision. They do finally have a ward in middle, which is very important for them. This sentry ward seems to just be out of range, but they need vision of Fnatic. They kind of just walked into them when they were all there. And wow, that chain frost too especially just was so good. And now they will not spot that observer ward out. So they think that Fnatic thinks that they're coming into their jungle unknown by EG, but EG totally knows what's up, and Mojo should be able to get out.
Yep, able to bounce away. TP's out from near the dire side Ancients. 16.5 minutes in, and EG, who's looked good for the most part, fed back a lot of their advantage there.
Their BKBs are almost up, though. Once BKBs hit, like, Fnatic just really can't do that much. Mirana, no right-click, just treads and drums. More survivability right now, and probably going into a Manta, perhaps a crit later, but as of now, just not that much right-click damage. And they really rely on magic with the Nyx Assassin Burst, with the Arrow, with the Starfall, with the Lich Ultimate, and the Timbersaw. Like, BKB, that's 10 seconds. They just have to turn tail and run.
Universe looking through their jungle with that haste rune he picked up and unable to find someone so far. And it looks like both teams have calmed down a little bit. I think EG's lineup, as you said, right now they're waiting on the BKBs. After that, I would imagine they're going to want to just fight all the time. They just have so many ways to.
Bloodstone already out on Trixie.
Yeah. Trixie's played a very good game. He's at 5-1, was dominant in that off lane in the one-on-one against Universe. They're going to be relying on him a lot. Coming back to your point about the clock, Hani hasn't played poorly per se. I mean, 2, 5, and 7 certainly not where you want to be as a clock. He just seems like he hasn't really created a lot of opportunities. Doesn't seem like Clock's really a hero he's super comfortable with compared to his other main go-tos.
Yeah, I would agree. He's more the ranged int type of player.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just beating on this tower. Arrow will fly out, but it will not connect them in the end.
Jo hooked out. Hani actually hooked him immediately, so he's not going to have that available to him if he needs it. And EG just buying room for Fear to farm right now. Looks like they're content to go ahead and trade this tower away just to get Fear's BKB up. Fear's about 300, 400 gold away from it now. And there's a free tier 2 going to Fnatic, and they're going to go up. We actually see the ping immediately come out. That was Jo who just pinged the Roche pit, suspecting that might be where they go. And we'll see if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and the items need to come in a little bit quicker for EG. They were on a pretty good lead, but now the gold graph just 1,000 in favor of EG after they were at about a 4,000 lead. And I think that all started with like MSS dying in mid, and then them just taking control of the bottom area of the map. So I think MSS should have had his Orchid by now, had he not jumped in. I mean, he's just 500 gold off, so he definitely should have had to go. Should have probably had it like 2 or 3 minutes ago. And yeah, a couple deaths on Fear sets back his BKB. But now it looks like Fear has his 1375 gold. There is the BKB recipe, and Fnatic is still looking to fight.
And Jo caught out by No Tail, and managed to survive longer than I think he intended to, but a well-aimed arrow by Era sealed his fate following the impale. Mojo Stormstout is there, and Fear's going to be ready to fight. Fresh BKB's got a 10-second charge. They need this to go their way, otherwise Fnatic's going to continue to dominate their side of the map. And in return, if Fnatic takes a big win here, Roshan, a very likely possibility as we approach 20 minutes. There's another arrow. Woo, barely dodged by Universe, MSS, and Fear there. Chakram thrown out. They're slowly sieging this down. Looks like they might want to retreat. And Trixie just continuing to clear creeps. Nope, they're going to hang. They're just going to slow siege this for the moment. And even right now, Era's still lacking even the Yasha. But EG certainly not feeling super comfortable moving out and doing anything but standing as 5. Fnatic is beginning to slowly kind of fall back, though. They've made their way into the Radiant jump.
Yeah, they know that Luna has BKB now. It's just a very risky fight for them to take, especially when they've been doing so well for the past 5 or 10 minutes. Jo also, that's the second time he's been caught way out of position, too. You just need to place like Sentry Wards and Venom Wards, and then if it's safe, then you move up, and only if you don't get hookshot, too. Or if you do get hookshot, your team can easily counter-initiate with a Luna into an Eclipse, but it looks like there's smoke. They want to go in on them.
And Fnatic falling back as quick as they can. There's a track on the fly. And Era caught out in the wrong part of the jungle. Runs right into the smoke from EG. And the rest of Fnatic having to fall back hard now. That's a very important track kill going their way. Didn't take any expending of BKB or anything else.
Well, he just walked on top of him. They were running side by side, both of them like not invisible for like a good 2 seconds before anything happened. I was just like staring at him like, what is going on here? He's like walking in the middle of 3 or 4 heroes. So I think that EG's camera was definitely where Universe was, which was trying to track up the other 4 heroes. But I mean, that was just unexpected. I have no idea why Arrow wasn't there. Maybe he was, oh, here comes the tower dive.
And they're going to go for it. Fear, or Universe rather, pops his BKB, flying, going to be blown up. Now it's on Trixie. There's the Poison Nova and MSS. Vortexing him back. The cogs went down, but Fear's Eclipse doing good work. 2 down. Fog pops the freezing field. And No Tail back up. Timber back up off of a buyback. EG will try to fall back. Fear will end up being a return kill, as will Jo. So they end up getting some kills done and forcing a buyback out of Trixie. And a number of level 2 track kills there as well. So that's actually not nearly as bad a trade for EG as it would seem at first glance. But unable to turn it into anything else worthwhile. Finally, that Orchid comes out from Storm. Now, that's a key item. Can't help but wonder if EG should have waited on that to begin with.
Yeah, they had a very good initiate on the list, and then they tried to go on the Timber and the Clock, and Clockwork almost died, and then Trixie's death actually just saved them. So it would have been almost 3 track kills if they had just focused Hani first instead of Trixie, but you can't really do anything about that because it was mostly the Eclipse that did bring them down. But killing Fear, this is just so important for them. He's 3, 4, and 10 right now, and Era has died a little bit less, but he still should be higher in net worth than them, especially considering all these towers.
And they might go for the deny. Nope. Jo is making his way up. But that's another tower down, and Fnatic winning the map control game quite handily. They still have 5 towers standing, while EG only has 2, and both of them are in this off lane. And, you know, arguably the least valuable lane in terms of pure map control. So Fnatic has really done good work, and you take a look at the gold graph, they lead now for the first time all game. So that huge amount of gold that EG amassed early on, up near almost 4,000 gold advantage at just about 7.5, 8 minutes in, has now not just evaporated, but has swung so far south that Fnatic is in the lead. And that's on the back of track kills. And again, there were a couple of level 2 track kills there for Universe. So Fnatic is just really playing some good Dota so far.
Mojo can just get bursted out right now.
Yep, and the arrow's there to finish him off. Now they're going to re-engage. Universe is there throughout the track and pop the BKB. BKB's up on Fear and Universe both. They're going to eat the chain frost.
There's going to be a hook shot too, probably to seal the deal.
Universe cuts over to the side. Fear in trouble. Trixie trying to pursue him out. Oh, temper chain off the mark there. In the meantime, they may get no tail. Nope. Able to finish off Fog before he can get the last bit of HP removed from the Nyx Assassin. Universe might double back and go for something like a Shuriken toss. Nope, no tail's actually being healed up by an urn, so he will decide against that. 20-20. We're all knotted up in kills. The gold again, handily
has been denied.
In the lead in terms of gold, at least compared to where they used to be. About 1,500 to their advantage. They deny the tier 1 mid. The experience is in their favor once again as well, and EG just feels like they're running out of steam.
They just need to stop getting caught out of position like that. Storm Spirit just got initiated on while he's trying to beat on a glyph tower and then just dies to the amount of burst. Like, he doesn't have BKB. He can't be standing up in front unless he just jumps on somebody, but that's a different sort of initiate than Storm Spirit getting stun locked from 100 to 0. So they definitely didn't know that Nyx Assassin had a Blink Dagger, but at the same time, you still had to be pretty careful with that because the Sentry Wards dropped over here, and Mojo was standing like right over here. So Nyx Assassin could easily be in this area and still stun him out from Vendetta, and he can still get caught out. So Jo gets caught out, bottom T2, mid T2, and then Mojo getting caught out there. This has cost them so much. The slight positioning errors from their, I wouldn't say Venom's an important hero, but still, you just can't lose a hero for nothing.
There's the Impale on the Fog, follow-up arrow, and the Starfall. Jo gets off the Poison Nova, but he's going to end up dead as well. Hook off the mark from Hani, and a shame, too. If he connects on that, Fear's almost certainly dead. As it stands, Fnatic will take those 2 kills and look to retreat. Universe is coming along from the flank, though, and we'll get the track off, and a very nice track kill onto Era. The rest will be able to retreat, so they end up trading 2 for 1. And very unfortunate for Fnatic that Hani missed that hook. He hits that hook. That's a Luna down, and probably even more so than getting her down. I mean, they probably are able to roll that up and maybe even look to dive one more hero. But
yeah, Hani should have been able to get a hook on them the time before, too, the time that they went on MSS in middle. Like, he just, like, ran wide step so he can get a hook shot on Luna. And killing Luna is just so important for them right now, as well as Storm Spirit. But, I mean, Mojo, he's not going to have his BKB for a pretty long time, so it's not like that important that they kill him right now. Fear, though, his items are slowly starting to kick in. He has a HOD on him. In terms of net worth, though, he is still number 4. Potom just about 400 gold out of him. The big winner here is Timbersaw. Trixie already with a BKB of his own. Yep.
With that BKB now, Magic Immunity to go with reactive armor, he is going to feel nigh impenetrable. On top of, by the way, 12 charges in his Bloodstone. He's got 2,000 HP at 26 minutes into this game. With reactive armor.
Hani's going to run into them. They need a detection.
Oh,
where are their support heroes with the detection?
Impale off the mark. There's no tail. BKB popped by Fear, so he's able to dodge the arrow. Nice Eclipse, doing a lot of damage. Era has to run, and Hani has to pull back as well. Storm Stout jumping on top of him. That'll secure another kill. They end up trading 3 for 1 there as Fog was bursted down. And now Trixie is silenced with the Orchid. He already used his BKB. What was he doing there? That's a free one. What in the hell was he doing there? Just walking.
He was picking off the Crystal Maiden in the back, but that was over here. She died like right next to neutral creeps. Like, he should not have been back in there, especially without BKB. But that was just such a good initiation by EG, or rather a poor one by Fnatic. And it's all about who gets a jump on who. It looks like Era is going to shoot an arrow. Is Mojo going to die? Oh, that was so close.
Hero creep takes it. Now we're going to have the reinitiation off of Trixie. Universe heads to the north, going to duck past the rest of Fnatic. There's the dust. And MSS tries to do what damage he can before dropping, but a return kill goes the way of Fnatic, and Era's not done trying to pursue out Fear. He even pops the drum charge.
Yeah, he needs to hit an arrow. There is no T2. There is a lot of chasing room for them. No-Tail does have a blink dagger. Fear has BKB in 2 seconds time. Can he BKB the blink initiate?
No. Should have BKB'd for safety. Instead, a very nice return kill for Fnatic. And even though they lost the tower, even though they lost the previous fight, EG took the gold lead once again off of that, but I'm sure we're going to see that duck down a bit more. But Fnatic, I'll tell you what Fnatic's doing well. Whenever they punch hard, and whenever they get hit, they counter punch really well.
Yeah, Trixie's just, he respawns so fast too. Like I don't even like know how fast that respawn was, but like if you press enter and look at the text, it's like, oh, Storm Spirit has killed someone, destroyed a tower, and then Timbersaw immediately comes back. I was looking to see if he bought back, but yeah, he's just up so fast in these fights, and EG can't really kill him twice, even though he pretty much just gave him a free one there. And yeah, not having that T2 as well. If he had that T2 up, they wouldn't have chased that far. But he should have known. Like, is a Platinum really just going to be able to just arrow you during daytime? Like from that much of a distance? Probably not. So someone has to be on his tail, either a Timber or a Nyx assassin. And yeah, they should know that he has a blink on Nyx, and just giving not a free one there, but he kind of should have anticipated that.
Yep. 25-25, very active game. 50 kills in 30 minutes and split right down the middle, and would expect no less from these two teams with so much on the line for both squads, EG in particular.
There's a BKB up on Hani now.
Yeah, Hani, to be honest, Hani hasn't been as big an influence as you want your Clockwork to be, especially when you sit him into that middle lane. I mean, we've seen...
Neither has MSS, though.
Yeah, exactly. No-Tail will go ahead and pop Vendetta, goes under Moonlight Shadow as well. Has a chance to catch
Ward. They have a Sentry Ward. They know that Trixie's there.
And we see lots of pinging coming out. Jo. Oh, Fear. See the pinging. And
they need more sentries. Oh, No-Tail's Vendetta is like 20 seconds from being up, but he's just standing right on top of them. Where are the sentry
And Trixie going to be jumped upon by MSS. Very nice impale caught too. BKB up from Universe. There comes Hani with the hook, and now Fear pops the Eclipse, doing decent damage to what targets he can. Unfortunately, not a lot of those. Trixie used his BKB, as did Hani. They will be able to track down the Timber one more time. So they did a good job in managing that fight, all things told. They go 2 for 2 training supports for a Lich and a Timber. That's a big win for them in all practicality, and a couple of track kills in there as well.
That's a really important win for them, only losing the Crystal Bandit as well as a Venomancer. Mojo did a very good job of being able to dodge that arrow. He needs to stay alive in these fights just so he can get this BKB. And wow, we see a Desolator already up on Bounty Hunter. So these weak supports are just going to fall even faster. And that was just a really good fight for them to take. Like, the positioning is really good. They have a sentry down here. There's a choke point up here. So if they had to retreat, it's going to be really tough. And it's just not like Fnatic. They couldn't really come up that hill. Sure, they had the Timbers up there and the Nyx are already behind, but his team can't really follow up, can't really lock down unnecessary heroes.
I'll tell you what I think is going to be the most key item so far in this game is going to be MSS's BKB. He's about 1,600 gold away from it now, give or take. And what's happening is he's jumping on the Timber, jumping on whatever target he needs to jump on, and dying immediately. Like, they're getting basically one piece of initiation out of him and nothing else. They're really getting very little damage out of him. He gets a BKB up, things change. I think MSS will start being a much bigger influence, and a lot of these fights that feel like they're a 4-on-5 after his initiation are likely to be extended quite a bit more. And
yeah, he just needs to like instantly kill the Nyx assassin. Even the Lich, I don't think would be too bad. He can't go on Mirana because Mirana has a Manta Style at this point. Oh, he misses on Fear.
Moonlight Shadow popped. And No-Tail. Gonna guess that was a happy face he was trying to draw there. There's that BKB done on MSS, and we'll see if that's going to have as much influence as we think it will. I really do. His survivability is going to feel high for the first time in the entire game, basically. His Orchid came out late, his BKB coming out fairly late as well. But, yeah, I mean, with Universe's Deso especially, so long as Universe and MSS can stay alive, between the ability to bounce around and lock down multiple targets and the ability to just blow targets up, the Universe is going to bring, that's going to make a lot of room for Fear and make life for Fear a lot simpler.
I wonder what item Fear is going to go next. He has 4,100 gold in the bank right now, and yeah, they kind of need to spend it. They also need a mech too. Like, why? Looks like CM is going for mech, but still pretty poor even after all this track gold. I think Fear should spend his gold before this fight. This is a pretty risky fight for them to take. We know what happens when they take fights closer to opponent's side. Timbersaw, if he dies, just revives and comes back and cleans up. So I don't think they should be forcing this. If anything, just wait for one more big item out of Luna, whether it be a butterfly or something like that, and then after that they can start to take a fight. Fear is out on his lonesome, though. He will be spotted out by the observer ward, but he knows something's up. He is running back to the safety of his own team, back up this ancient. Oh no, actually he's going the other way.
No tail right on his tail. And BKB is going to be popped on all sides. And there we go. Fear going to eat the impale. Universe had his BKB up. They're going to try to catch him out. Orchid onto him. Track and the return track kill. MSS going to go ahead and jump on the Trixie as well. Manages the vortex and back. Fly throws out the ulti, but that's the best he can do. MSS happy to pop his BKB there. And a very nice turnaround. I'll tell you what, EG was living on the edge that entire time as we see them charge now into the dire side jungle. Even here, Fear walked up and cleaned up a wave and auto-attacked the tower with Hani sitting right here and the Nyx Assassin back here. I'm surprised he didn't get caught out there. Instead, they over-pursued him all the way up through here, and EG just took a gigantic fight in terms of momentum and importance in this as we entered the late game phase. Fear will be caught with an arrow.
Yeah, where's like the hook shot to follow up?
Yeah.
Like they can't really save him at this point, but yeah, like Hani needs to initiate, especially when they're at like really bad positions like this, and instead EG is drawing them into these really comfortable positions up the hill with sentry wards. That's like a perfect fight for them. Yes, please. And I don't know why Fnatic is not being more aggressive, jumping onto opportunities that they have been presented instead of chasing these ones that are just very low probability. They do have like decent map control still though, just because they have a Nyx plus Potom who can burst anybody down, BKB or not, as long as you get the impale off, and they can do Roshan at this point just because they are so scared. I think that EG kind of needs a gem too. Oh, actually, scratch that. They do have a gem up on the Venomazer. They really do need that mech though. A pipe would go pretty far because their BKBs are running low. We see 6 seconds left on the Luna and 5 seconds left on the Black King bar on the Bounty Hunter.
Oh,
there's
nice.
a hook shot on Fear. Where's the TP scroll? He doesn't have a TP.
Best one from Hani all game. And they're just going to walk up.
Scroll?
Yep, Fear boned, like you said. Poor preparation.
You would think as many times as he's played carry, he would know not to be caught out in that particular situation. And now it's an easy Roshan for Fnatic. Like, Fear, he could buy back. He was spending his gold. I guess he was just really close to his butterfly and just got a little bit greedy out there. Looks like MSS may take a spill. Wow, that map awareness.
Jumping away, but they're not done. They're going to try to pursue him out. He's got a full bar of mana, though, so he should be safe.
I think Fnatic should have just gone straight for Roshan at that point. Like, now they've wasted... Fear had like a 60-second revive. Now he's back to 30 seconds, and they're going to start out Roshan right now, but they don't have that much physical damage. Looks like Era has his Manta style, but I don't think they're going to defend. And there's a DD on bottom, so definitely a lot of things going in favor for Fnatic at this point. But if this team were right there, I guess they don't have a tower to TP to either. No T2 up on mid or bottom, so that's just a very, very long fight for EG.
Yep, no way they can get there on time. And Roche down to a quarter health, so a big coup for Fnatic. Fear making a, lack of a better way to put it, it's a rookie mistake and you hate to see it. Hanging out without a TP scroll, as you had mentioned, and getting caught out when he could have very easily made it back home for dinner. Instead, Fnatic, though they trailing kills, they take down Roshan. EG on the back of Universe's track gold and on the back of some fine play for the most part. Still riding high in the gold advantage. They're about one big item ahead at 5,000 gold. And the experience, though, in favor of Fnatic. The momentum, without a doubt, in favor of Fnatic as well. But what I think we're going to start seeing is the limited potential that a Mirana pure carry has. We've seen Era move around pretty well, make use of his skills. We've seen a few good Sacred Arrows, but she's only going to be so good in cracking late game tier 2s and tier 3s. And this is really where EG's lineup's going to shine. And the problem they're going to run into is with Universe at level 16 now, level 3 track. He's got the ability to burst down heroes very, very quickly. They can't afford to just keep basically washing against EG, even if they're trading even, because those are big wins whenever you trade even against the Bounty Hunter.
I think EG should take this fight. They have the butterfly up on the Luna now. They also have the mech on the CM, so those are both pretty big items for them. And they're still ahead in terms of items on Fnatic, and I don't think they want to lose this T2 tower. And yeah, sure, they have the Aegis, but it's just on a Mirana. Mirana's gonna die twice, most likely if she dies again and her team gets wiped, and I'm pretty sure that they can wipe her to this fight.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
MSS BKB.
I'm gonna BKB for that. That's not what you want. And now with that, I don't know if they should take that fight anymore. He should not have to BKB that. That's just, it was pretty much an arrow fired in plain sight. Yeah, it's during nighttime, but you can just sidestep it, you can ultimate it, you can do a lot of things besides BKB.
We see another blind one shot out, but yeah. And he didn't even need it's the thing. It missed anyway. Wouldn't have connected to begin with. Just a little bit of a panic reaction, I think. And gonna be another 45 seconds or so until it's back off cooldown. And he's hanging around the back. And they're slowly sieging this down. The range on Mirana enough to crack the tier 2. Yep. There's a hook, actually. Hani goes in and finds it downtown, drops the cogs, and uses his own BKB. And looks like they're just going to go ahead and back off of that. Yeah, Hani going to...
Storms should jump right now, or as if they have vision.
Yep,
but...
Yep, trying to track down Era. We saw the jump from MSS, but unable to vortex him in time. So
he didn't have detection.
Yep. 39 minutes in, and EG loses yet another tower. The gold continuing to slowly slope downwards.
That's a really nice force by Jo, though.
Yep. So as we're coming up on 40 minutes here, break it down, Merlini. I mean, you look at this. This is a game that seems very even by all accounts. The late game carry potential does favor EG for the most part, but Fnatic has a Timber and they have a Clock, meaning they have a lot of reach. MSS has been kind of hit and miss.
Mojo walking right into the Sentry Ward.
And boom. Here comes Hani.
What is he doing over there? I mean, he wants to buy something at the shop, but my goodness. Like, they're just giving them free kills that they shouldn't be doing. Like, Fear with a death leads to a Roshan, leads to a T2 tower after that because he doesn't have his butterfly. And then Mojo, 3,000 gold, just walks up to them and gets a kill. That's what chickens are for. And then now they have an opportunity to take a T3 with the Aegis, just giving Fnatic opportunities too. They were doing so well about drawing them around, and I think their 5-on-5 is pretty good, but they just can't make silly mistakes. Not being able to BKB TP, not just wasting your BKB on an arrow that you can just sidestep, and not just walking up into the Sentry Ward thinking you're invincible with Sentry Ward with Invisibility Rune and giving them a free kill too.
Well, it seems to me there's a secret shop right here. I circled it out once, and yeah, like you said, I mean, especially, you know, it's one of those kind of things you have to label just as a mental error, because you know that Fnatic was just in there. They just took Roshan not long ago, and the likelihood that they would drop at least one ward and one sentry when they went into Roshan to do it just a few minutes ago was so very high. And we see the sentry has since expired, so I guess it's understandable that he would assume maybe it was gone. But, you know, in a game this close, better safe than sorry. And EG.
Yep, there's Fnatic's just moving as 5 right now. What they need to do is just keep looking for opportunities that EG presents them. Like, hey, you want a free kill? Sure, we'll take it. Hey, you want to engage at our T2 and potentially get hookshot and die? Yeah, sure, we'll take it. And like, if they had a ward up here right now, Fear could possibly die too. Just like blink Nyx Assassin Impale into an arrow. So they just have to be really wary of that, as well as just being really on top of the force steps. Unfortunately, only Venomancer has one. Crystal Maiden probably needs one too. And now Mirana's starting to do some damage. She has the MKB for Fear's Butterfly.
Yep, Monkey King bar out. Damage certainly much higher. And Era, I mean, this is basically where a carry Mirana starts to feel like a carry Mirana, and he's gotten there at a pretty good clip. Here we go. There's going to be a jump from MSS. He grabs out Fly, tracks through there. Hook comes in to counter-initiate. Fear pops the Eclipse. Trixie with his own BKB up, and he's being right-clicked down pretty effectively. Hani trying to withdraw as well. In the meantime, Universe going to work on No Tail. There's going to be a dust out. Jo might end up dead. He will be left on by Era, but Era got greedy. Had the Aegis. Buybacks on both sides.
With leap down too.
Yep. That was greedy.
That Era.
Yep, that was greedy. Here comes No Tail. He's going to connect on an impale on the Universe. But no way to know he was there. And yeah, went for that kill against all odds. Got it, and I'm with you. It's as soon as I saw it, it's like, yeah, that's questionable, because it was at best maybe he gets a good counter initiate off of buybacks from his team. And MSS looks for a jump, unable to find it. No Tail still under cover of Vendetta. Watches his tier 2 collapse. And he doesn't have, just going to spend the mana burn. But anyway, big win for EG across the board. Little bit of questionable play coming out of Era, and ends up feeding the Aegis +1. And the gold heading back in their direction pretty steeply at that. But, yeah, they're beginning to stabilize, and we're beginning to see just how powerful a late-game carry Mirana can be, especially if she gets up one more big item. If she turns that helm into a Satanic at this point, they're going to have so much trouble ever bringing her down.
I think that EG has like the big edge here. Not even just a small edge, like gold grab, blah blah blah, 7,500, and they're up on 1 kill. But the main part is like Fnatic can't really 5-on-5 push right now, just because the BKB initiate is just way too strong. They just he just BKB'd on Fly, and what is Fly gonna do besides just give a free track kill? And then immediately you're starting out the fight 4-on-5, and then if Nyx Assassin there, Nyx Assassin is just gonna die too. And meanwhile, like Fnatic, what are they really gonna do? Like hookshot into a bunch of Force Staffs and BKBs, like try and get a Blink Impale on a Nyx Assassin that is pretty unreliable, and it leaves your Nyx Assassin very vulnerable, and they have BKBs. It's just not an ideal situation for them, and it looks like they're looking for a 5-man right now. Mojo may get picked off here.
There's the Impale. He's got a little bit of mana, and he's gonna be hexed out. Blown up immediately. They might engage. There's a Poison Nova, got 3. Hani's going to catch 2 in the cogs, so that's Fear plus Fog. BKB's up on both sides. Universe going to work as best he can. Here's the Eclipse, but doing damage to no one so far. Finally going to get a charge off or 2. They will end up bringing down 1 more. It's a 3-for-2 exchange. The bounty's already down, and Fear continuing to pursue out Era. There's the jump from MSS. And a Lucent Beam, 1 more auto attack. That's enough. A double kill going to MSS at the end of that. We'll see how long it's going to be on Roshan as the timer. It's going to be 2.5 minutes. So EG not going to be benefiting from a short timer that time around. Nonetheless, they did get a track kill or 2, and that gold continues to skyrocket up. And that was actually probably the best hook we've seen out of Hani the entire game. He managed to catch 2 with
really
it.
Good.
And
I don't know how he got stuck in the trees right here, though. Like, I have no clue how he was right here. Like, absolutely no idea. He just like kind of seemed like he just like walked into the trees. And he was BKB'd, so it definitely wasn't a Force Staff. So I don't know really what I don't really know what happened there, but Timbersaw with his Scythe of Ice now makes for very good picks. Mojo just slightly out of position too. His team was like looking to smoke right here in this position, and he's like 1 screen away trying to be greedy and get creeps when he's fairly close to a sheep, right? He would have had a sheep had he not died there, and if his team's there, they can just force him out if he gets hooked, if he gets sheeped, and he needs his team there to protect them. They're not working together as one unit just well enough, but they're still playing very, very well. The buyback definitely worth it at that point, making that I believe just 1 pick off into a 4-on-3, I believe, in favor of EG. I mean, but killing the Storm and forcing a buyback is just still such a really big goal thing for them. Mojo, just about 800, 900 gold away from his sheep. It's going to be pretty important for them. And yeah, I mean, they could just do Roshan right now if it had respawned, but Fnatic just slightly unlucky with that.
Necro Book pickup for Fogged. And more importantly, though, Fear is sitting on 4,200 gold. He's going to have his Satanic up essentially right now. Needs a little bit more. But for the most part, it's already done. And Fnatic just babysitting the Roche pit now. They're going to have to wait about another 20 seconds, give or take. But don't expect them to separate from 5, and certainly don't expect them to abandon this pit anytime soon.
Yeah,
Fear,
they should smoke. EG should. Like, they know Roshan is up. They should know Roshan is up, and this is a very important Roshan for them too. They're just taking way too long, like, to do this though. That should have happened like a good 20 seconds ago. They're just like wandering around, milling about. So they still have some teamwork things they can improve on. Looks like Fnatic's actually going to smoke on their own, and they're trying to catch out EG.
2 huge items out for EG right before this fight. Scythe of Ice is now up on MSS, and the Satanic done on Fear. This could be, oh wow, they're going to bypass each other. 2 ships, 2 battleships passing in the night.
How fast are they with the BKBs? Yep. Is the biggest thing in this fight. And look, they're so far spread out right now. Mojo is not close enough to the gem. They need Jo there. Jo doesn't have the gem. They don't know.
Oh, now they're going to be caught out. Getting MSS. Lincoln's is popped immediately. MSS down. There's the Chain Frost. BKB's up on all sides. We're going to see Universe laying into Fly, but with the Chain Frost already thrown, that's going to be worth it. Trixie's going to end up dropping here, though. It's a 2-for-2 buyback from Trixie immediately. Fear eating a lot of damage. Has already used his Satanic. Is not going to be able to survive. Era leaps and tries. A nice arrow on the Fog. Now Jo's in trouble. He's down. Triple kill for Era. A full 5-man wipe. on the side.
Their initiation is just so bad on the side of EG. Like, why was Venomancer not there with the gem? Like, they just walked on top of them with the Mirana ultimate and were able to just kill MSS. That is like the biggest blunder in this game by far. And EG, they're like doing okay in these team fights, but it's just these really silly things here and there. Like no detection versus a 5-man Mirana ultimate when Roshan is up and they're not at the Roche pit. Like that's just the silliest thing I've seen in this game.
Well, hell, their whole positioning, being in the trees there. I mean, their vision was really not very good there. They were all kind of cluttered up, and Fnatic has a team that's going to be happy to fight in those confines because of Impale wanting to catch more than one target. Timbersaw, of course, loves to fight in trees, loves to fight with AoE potential. And Lich is Shanefrost. So they take the tier 3.
It's okay if they can pop their BKBs, but they got the sheep up on Storm Spirit, and from then on the fight's over because they just burst them down so fast, immediately a 4-on-5 when it should be a 4-on-5 the other way. And now they take out Roshan, so EG really on the back foot there after that fight. And yeah, just after this, I mean, I still think they have the slight upper edge in team fights, even being down by probably 10,000 gold after this Roshan. They may even be able to take a fight themselves. I don't know if they have the smoke yet though.
Well, Aero's going to be able to, depending on what he wants to buy here, there's no MKB up on Luna. He could just flat out buy a butterfly.
Here they go. Mojo can make big plays here.
Oh, fogged. Hit by the arrow. And Cogs go down, and they pop Moonlight Shadow at the same time. Roche is going to drop, and Jo jumped in, and it looks like Jo got it. Or no, Mirana snatched it, actually. And now we're going to see the counter initiation. There's Freezing Field, and we're going to have the Aegis popped off immediately. So Mirana, quote unquote, snatching it after EG technically stole Roshan, but able to make it out.
There's 2 gems in the pit, 3 gems over there. Universe has 2 on him.
And Mojo moves in. Yeah, he's going to go and grab that bad boy. That was a weird sequence of events.
Big play, though.
Yeah, well, Jo went in, got off his Poison Nova, actually took the killing
How did he
on
get
Roche.
the last hit on Roshan? Like, was that a plague ward or what?
Yeah, it had to.
I'm pretty sure he didn't right click.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, whenever you're commentating a fight like that, you're watching over on the left for your cue because sometimes it's very difficult to tell exactly who picks it up immediately. And you see the word snatched, and you say, "Oh, he got it," and it's like, no, actually, he killed Roshan, and Mirana took it. That's what happened.
Yeah, it was pretty big for Mirana to take it there. If Jo got the snatch right there, oh my goodness, that would have been huge. But I don't even know if he had a slot for it, just because he had a gem in his inventory, and he kind of needed it since they Moonlight Shadow right before. I also think they just need. Oh, they have a Necro 3 up on Crystal Maiden, so I guess the gem is not as important as it was before. But they cannot afford to get picked off that like that. Actually, they do have buyback on Luna and Storm Spirit, but still, like even if they do buy it back, the fight is just going to go so poorly if they get a sheep initiate. So, I mean, Trixie being really farm right now with the BKB, with the Bloodstone, close to Shiva's BOTs, as well as the Scythe Device, is really good for Fnatic at this point. But they're still down by about 12,000 gold at this point. The right click on Luna is just massive right now with 2,200 and 2,200 HP, and Romana sitting around, what, 250 damage compared to Fear's 250, but he has the glaives and he has a lot more attack speed.
Yeah, Era, I mean, he's really caught up, and it's rare to see a carry Mirana be on par with a hero like a Luna at this stage. Like you said, the glaives certainly favor Luna, but he's doing some pretty fantastic single-target physical DPS. And
oh, here they go with the smoke, though. This could be a big fight. It's all on who gets to jump on whom. And Jo has to be up in front to just pretty much tank it. Like, he just needs to be able to scout it out. And if No-Tail gets a blink stun on an important hero like Mojo, then they are just going to get wrecked. And looks like they probably are going to be able to wrap around. Jo needs to like stand right here just so they don't come from over here. Oh, he's in the right position. He knows. They see.
Yep, zoning them out. And the arrow's there. Force Staff gets him to safety. Fear has the Lincolns on him.
They shouldn't Lincoln's Fear. They need a Lincoln's the Storm because he's going to be jumping in. Most likely their sheep target too.
Yep. And Fear, as the Lincolns expire, the rest of the Fnatic's actually being zoned out. This is the best positioning we've seen out of EG in this kind of a situation all game. Mojo ready to jump, and he's going to go for it. Going to pop the BKB, gets a Scythe off on Trixie. Can they blow him up? BKB's off on both sides. JO's down, Jim's on the ground. Trixie able to Timber Chain away. MSS, though, now sheeped out as well. Here comes the Eclipse from Fear. Hani is going to end up dropping. The rest of Fnatic sent running. No-Tail. Very low, will be able to survive just a moment, but they're already pressing into the tier 3s, and the rest of Fnatic in no shape to fight. Not a lot of HP between them. And Fear didn't even have to use his Satanic there. Down goes the tier 3. Let's see if they want to hang. They only lost Jo with no Hani there. I'm a little surprised they're pulling back.
Their mid is just getting wrecked. They lost the free range racks because the lane wasn't pushed out. But yeah, like Mojo got sheep after his PKP and almost died there. You should not be casting your Lincolns on Fear just because if they go on Fear, Storm can counter initiate. But if they go on Storm, like what is Luna going to do? Just like walk in and BKB and Eclipse into BKBs? It's not really going to save Mojo from dying. So they just need to protect Mojo a little bit better with the Force Staff on Jo. Actually, Jo just like Force Staff himself in there. But mostly just the Link is in the Force Staff have to protect him just because his BKB is just so low right now. 5 seconds on him. Luna's is at 4 seconds too, actually. But he has Butterfly as well as Satanic, so he's in a much less vulnerable position.
EG moving into their own jungle. Fnatic beginning to group up again once again. We're coming up on this already is one of the longer games of the entire D2L as we approach the 55-minute mark. Manta style now done on Fear as well. And taking a look at Mirana's gold, she's got about 3,600. We'll see what direction she wants to go. Honestly, at this stage, a Butterfly would make a ton of sense.
He needs to de-ward this. He has a gem. He should just be spamming those plague wards everywhere, looking for wards.
No Tail leading the charge here. Under cover of Vendetta will expire as Fnatic. Nope. Has a Vendetta. He was actually under cover of Dust or Smoke rather. But EG in a very defensive position. Their positioning has been shored up. Much
yeah,
better.
They're doing a lot better at it, but you can tell that JO's like still trying to get used to the support role because this is something that's like very obvious to do. Like I have a gem, I should just be playing plague wards everywhere, I should be able to kill it. And that war was up for like a good minute or something like that when they were standing around there. And yeah, his positioning over at the smoke was just a little bit off too. So I mean, I think Jo is a decent support. Sometimes he is caught out of position, the hook shot on the bottom tower getting Nick's assassin over here, but overall he's been playing a pretty solid Venomancer.
We could see EG kind of a haphazard. Oh, well, we're actually going to have Fog caught by the arrow. He's going to jump right on the tricks. He got the scythe off. JO's there to hit the Gale. He's on the half health. Hani hooks in, though. Cogs to try and buy time. JO's actually going to be the one they scythe the Vice. Now Fear with the Lincolns up, now using the Eclipse. Trixie's finished off.
Where's the suicide?
And Hani gonna be frostbitten down. Hooks up to the high ground. No Tail, not enough. Oh, he is for the moment. Nope, Shuriken toss, another track kill. And they bring him down. Buyback on Trixie. Or on Hani.
They should still push, though, if they can. The lane is not pushed out, though. That's a big problem. There's also a regen on top that would be huge for Mojo since they expended almost all of his mana jumping on Trixie earlier. But yeah, Trixie now sitting at 4 Bloodstones. So even though he had that really early Bloodstone, tons of farm, he just unable to do that much just because his team doesn't really have that much damage output. Brana's is nice, but it's nothing compared to a Luna with this many items. Like looking at the net worth, they were neck and neck before, but now a full 4,000, pretty much a Manta style ahead.
Butterfly decision from Mirana, but if things keep going this way, she's never going to have a chance to get it up. The clock is down for another 25 seconds, but yeah, that was just an interesting situation to say the least. The Scythe of Ice used on Jo was a little questionable as well. Hexing him out of all targets after he got off his Gale doesn't make a ton of sense. Trixie, as you mentioned, down to 4 charges of the Bloodstone. At one point was up to 9. And has since seen them.
He had more than that. He had 13 or something at one point.
Yep.
Oh, look at those illusions on top. Doing a lot of work on that range racks.
Oh, yeah.
And they're forced to walk up there and just let their T3 fall in the mid meantime. So very nice play by Fear.
Mojo caught out, stunned out with the Carapace. Here's BKB out of Trixie. Jo gets off the Poison Nova. Here comes the rest of Fnatic to run them out. The Chain Frost accomplishing very little. Now, this is one of the problems you run into whenever you pick a Lich. Is Fly. I mean, he did fairly well in early team fights. He just has not been much of a factor for a while now.
Too many BKBs on the opposite team.
Yep. And we can see
the Moonlight Shadow.
Yep, and Fear.
And there's a split push.
Yep. Fear split pushing top. Mojo has the Lincoln's pop. There's going to be the...
Oh, the hook shot. Hani.
The glyph used. No Tail. Going to impale the illusions. EG is moving so much better. They have given up so few opportunities here in this last push for them to initiate on them.
Yeah, some of the fights are just so good at missing. Sometimes they're just like, what in the world are you doing? Now their BKBs are back up, so now they can go back.
Hani hooked him, but didn't get the cogs down. He's blown up. BKB's on both sides, and this is probably going to be that. Era forced to leap away. That's going to be 2 sets of racks for sure. Mid drops, MSS jumps back, and now they can simply rotate the top. That's
Where
probably
was your BKB?
GG.
That was a really fast reaction by Mojo though, being able to sheep him out so fast like that. But yeah, Hani should have BKB there. I definitely don't think Klaka is his hero. He missed a lot of hook shots, and I mean even just like not taking them is pretty much missing them too. Like the one that you talked about where he was after T2 and Luna was just whacking on it, right? That's a very good opportunity for them. So a lot of mistakes by both sides, but EG comes ahead on top. I like their lineup. I like their playstyle. If they were just a little bit cleaner about executing and positioning during team fights, they would have actually just pretty much rolled Fnatic in like probably 40 minutes. But a couple mistakes here and there. Fnatic completely capitalizing on them. Well played by both teams.
Standout performance from EG's universe. 16-4, he finishes on the bounty with a inventory that's pretty damn impressive. Had a Deso, a Lincoln's, an Assault Cuirass, and a BKB up to go with his boots. By the time all was said and done, MSS bounced back. He was up and down, but Orchid came out a bit slow. But once the Scythe of Ice was out, especially that BKB was the difference maker so long as he got it off, as you mentioned. Fear actually finishes up just about break even because of his poor start, 9-8-25. By the time all was said and done. His GPM, honestly, not even that great either, sitting at just 510, but higher than anyone else on the side of Fnatic. And, yeah, I mean, Era had a good game on Mirana, 14-5-21, and farmed fairly well, was very effective with the usage of his abilities, hit a lot of big-time arrows, but in the end, just short of an hour long, EG, after getting off to a terrible start in our D2L Western Division, is now just 1 game away from playing their way back into playoff contention. Fnatic, though, certainly playing for pride and not wanting to open that door too wide if they can help it. 58 minutes, 21 seconds, the official game time, 47-41, 88 kills in a sub 1 hour game. So a very active game and a lot of fun to cast. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. The voice you're hearing on the other end of the line, that's, of course, Ben Merlini Will. You can follow us both on Twitter. I'm at AC. He's at Merlini Dota. This is our final best of 3 of the entire group stage. Not just the West. The East was finished up a couple of weeks ago. We're almost done, almost through. They're going to be taking a couple of weeks off, of course, to make room for DreamHack, to make room for MLG, which you'll be at, Merlini. And, yeah, you guys will be able to enjoy that downtime, enjoy those big tournaments, but bouncing back. First week or two in December, we have our bubble race playoff, not just in the West, but in the East as well. So still a whole lot of Dota to go before we figure out which 2 teams will be joining Alliance and LGD China in Las Vegas come January. Once again, EG takes a 1-0 lead over Fnatic in their bid to play their way into the playoffs. Fnatic, though, they're going to look to turn it around, give us a game 3. We'll find out which is up to the task next. Coming up here on the HyperX D2L. Stick with us. We'll be right back with game 2.